Judo tomage and Jiu-Jitsu tomage, I feel like are fundamentally different. Because for Jiu-Jitsu, you could pull guard, right? So there is like that gray area. Is it tomage? Is it a guard pull? Right? And I think that's a very unique place to be in for Jiu-Jitsu with a different purpose. When you're doing tomage and Judo, yes, you're bailing out of a bad position, but the goal isn't to pull guard. I mean, it kind of is, right? If you're like in dominant position and you're showing good stuff, maybe you go for a soto, and then it's like, you're almost on me and I'm kind of scared, right? Am I really going to tomage to throw you, or am I really just kind of making it look like I'm going for tomage and then kind of entering into this position where it's like, okay, now I'm not going to get thrown, all right, Mate, get back on the feet. So it is kind of like a guard pull.
But it stops the action.
Stops the action.
Right. In Jiu-Jitsu, we keep going, but in Judo, it stops the action.
Yeah. So I think more often than not, Judo guys are using tomage to throw. Jiu-Jitsu guys are using it as a means to pull guard.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know?
I was never taught it as a bailout technique. And I think maybe you're pointing at the different, like why that's the case, because it's not really bailing out. I mean, if you're out gripped, then it's good. But the truth is that, like in most cases, like in Jiu-Jitsu, I think for most people, if they're out gripped, they're going to pull guard. Like if I feel like we're here, like why would I not just pull into a position that
this is a good position?
Yeah, this is a pretty good position.
Yeah, you're very good here, Sensei.
No, I'm not that great, but I was gonna say like Tomoe, but like I think that in Jiu-Jitsu it's not so much a bailout because you don't have to really bail out of throws. Not to knock anybody or a group of people. Yeah. But gripping skills in Jiu-Jitsu from a standing position, it's like not something that Jiu-Jitsu people are known for. Like the ability to get to understand the difference between a grip like this and a grip like this. I think a lot of people are getting better at it, but right now, I was always taught it as a proactive, thing where like if we grip up here and I'm in this position, then if it fails, like the idea is to throw, but like if it goes wrong, you're not in a bad place.
Sure.
And plus, I think in the modern Jiu-Jitsu play, for us anyway, it's a lot better to hit something where you're actively trying to take the guy over than like jumping to close guard.
Yeah, oh yeah,
which
is sure.
Like
But this is the thing, not to
where's the discussion?
Expert opinions. But when you're going to pull guard in a specific way with a specific purpose versus going for a throw and then scrambling to get to that position, right? I think it's a little bit different,
Yeah.
So like using tomage as a means not to throw, but to get to the position that you want to go for, I think it kind of changes it a lot, So I feel like, it's a weird.
Yeah. I mean, generally, I think, if you're asking me, it's better to be proactive. Like if we're gripping, like I'm going to try to throw you probably, not you, but like if we're standing up, like let's try to throw the person to get into a better position, and hopefully get on top and then work from there. Yeah. And then if it doesn't work, the guard is always there. Yeah. Versus like setting up a situation where you're pulling to a guard to be able to play from that guard. And I get it. Like people have, some people are super strong in De La Hiva, so it makes sense to pull to there. But
here's an interesting thing. Yeah. One of the best tomonages, I think, is like the whipping tomonage, where you're attacking that back hip right versus right. And it's so dominant because it's like there's so much momentum and you have conviction and you're doing things to kind of hide that entry, right? For instance, like if we're right versus right and you kind of have a good dominant grip and our hips are kind of back, and if I'm faking outside to make it look like a Tayatoshi or Kosotogake sort of a situation, and have the proper angle, and now I'm going into this direction, and I'm attacking the back hip and ripping this across, like this one here? Right, this one's so nice. There's a lot of momentum and explosivity going in that direction. But that tomonage specifically, if you miss that hip, it puts you in a bad spot. Yeah. Because, it's not like you're not contained inside the legs, right? It's almost like you're on the outside. So if I miss that hip going to this direction, it puts you in a bad spot, right? So it's sort of like a higher risk, higher reward sort of a situation. And yes, you're actively trying to throw, and the chance of you throwing someone's better. Yeah. But the repercussions are a lot more. You know what I mean?
Can you do this? So if we're Kikyatsu here, and
can't get it here.
Yeah, here. And we go across this way.
Yeah.
Do we get the same whipping effect or no? Because I always feel like with this throw, you get like a little more of a whip with this leg.
Yes and no.
Oh.
Because yes, but you see the length of your leg?
Mm-hmm.
Length of my leg? So from here, if you extend this, it's still hard for me to step over. But if my legs are much longer and if I'm on that front head, it's a lot easier for the person to go out this way.
So you'll jump over to this side?
It's much easier for me too.
Yeah.
If I had longer legs, right? So like those things kind of matter. Okay. You know, I think in my opinion. That's a great one too.
Yeah.
That's a great one too.
Yeah. I don't ever do the rear hip one, but I feel like
the front hip's good.
I like it, but
because then if you go for it, right? And I show this sometime. Ball this way. Let's just say keep the knee bent so I can step over. As I'm stepping over, you can kind of, lock it this way. And now it's right. So those are different adjustments that you can make, but it's not as much momentum as the one where you're going to the back hip and ripping it. Yeah. You know? I don't know if this is helpful for anyone in this conversation. Just confusing everyone, I feel like.
No, I think there's some value in it. You know, we're talking about, you know, different uses of tomoe, but down on the ground, you know, I think down on the ground, like if you're doing tomoe from one of the first open guard sweeps that I learned was, you know, they used to call it the butterfly sweep, the balloon sweep.
Balloon sweep, yeah.
But it's tomoe nage.
It is, yeah.
And so the idea is kind of similar to when we were talking about sumigeshi. You don't have the ability to like whip your body around in a position because you're not dropping. So a lot of times it does have a quality of like having to work for it when you're underneath. But a lot of the mechanics are similar.
Very similar,
yeah. Body positioning, similar.
Yeah. More straight back to Manage, right? Balloon sweep.
Yeah, like just straight overhead.
Yeah, straight back to Manage.
Yeah.
The fakes translate for me like 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Faking a tomonage gets that right foot. I kochi it like it worked yesterday, like on a brown belt.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, it's the same look.
Well, a lot of times with these sorts of techniques where there's a parallel between the standing and the ground, if you're comfortable with the technique in both arenas, then you can use it. So like, even if you and I if I'm seated and you're standing and like we're playing some kind of open guard game and you're in retreat and you're backing out, if I get up and I have confidence, I can still, you know what I mean? You can do this kind of up down, and I think probably same thing standing. Yeah. You know, if you're working standing and you pull guard and you have confidence in your tomoe on the ground.
I like your re-tomoe too. That's another one that you do that's cool and unique.
Yeah.
You get a lot of guys with it, right?
Yeah.
So you go tomonage once, right?
Straight back?
Straight back.
Yeah.
You do the re-tomoe. Right? Straight back to bang.
Yeah.
Right? And then stuffing it.
Yeah.
And then as I'm posture up, you re-tomoe.
Yeah.
Or no, when you pull yourself.
Oh, come all the way.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Tessa, I know you're just more than you.
Oh, I know. Well, it's
Yeah.
not thinking on my feet.
That one's really good.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shoot, and then you
Yeah, you bite it and then you adjust your hip
and then you
underneath.
bump it with that other foot.
Yeah.
To set up the second portion of the throw. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think in jiu-jitsu sometimes you get second chances.
Yes.
In judo, sometimes you don't get second chances. I mean, especially with these kind of sutemi waza, it's like if you hit the ground, you're down there.
Yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, you're kind of already down there. Yeah. Can't get any worse.
Right.
So then you go and you do your attacks. Yeah.
That's where jiu-jitsu starts.
Yeah.
Right? Jiu-jitsu starts there.
Yeah.
That's where judo guys look up at the ref and like,
yeah.
That's interesting stuff.
Yeah. Good fun stuff.
It was